Hi, and welcome to episode 9 of the In the Red Wrong Bed podcast. I am your host, Justin Weigler. As always, with me is Jonathan Sokol. Today, we're going to be talking about the Premier League, some of the snubs who we thought probably didn't get in, maybe should have. And now we're recording. We're now after the first week. We're now looking ahead to the week 2 Premier League lines. So start us off. Jonathan, I don't know. There was a lot of consternation about, in particular, Nathan Aspinall getting in. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's just because of his walk-on or whatever." He is still a popular guy, though, and I think one thing that people get people who get misinterpret what the Premier League is about. It's really an exhibition of the most popular players and the best players. So it's not always just the 8 best players in the world.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm really glad Bunting is back in it this year. And so he has always been one of the most popular players. I've always liked him a lot. Glad to see him get a shot to go through it this year. With Asp, he is definitely the least deserving of everyone who made it this year. But yeah, I mean, he, like you said, he's a popular player and probably your favorite player. So
he is my favorite player. Yeah. So I love seeing him all the time.
Yeah.
You made a good point about Bunting. Bunting kind of was up for it last year. Usually what used to happen is like if you won the Masters, that was usually you're into the Premier League. That was right before the Premier League. And he won the Masters and didn't get in because they ended up putting Luke Littler in instead, which turned out to be a very, very good choice.
Of course.
Who not only ended up winning the Premier League, but we know everything else that goes along with him. So I don't feel bad that he didn't get in last year, but he was definitely deserving this year. Like he won a lot of tournaments. He did well. Got to the semifinals of the Worlds, and so yeah, he was absolutely deserving of going in. They took Michael Smith out and Peter Wright, and Peter Wright obviously wasn't going to be back this year. Michael Smith had just a dreadful year.
Yeah.
But he is fun to watch though. His throwing motion, he's just a great player to watch. So that's why he's also one of the people that, wasn't as easy to take out as most people thought.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a fan favorite. He puts in a lot of work, so it's been sad to see that it hasn't paid off for him recently. He did mention, I know, that he had arthritis in his hand, and so hopefully he's getting that worked on, and maybe that's why it's kind of been falling off lately. Peter Wright surprisingly has picked it back up in his last few tournaments definitely not to the point where he was at his peak, but he's at least not floundering around putting up 80 averages and things like that.
It was painful to watch him in the Premier League last year.
Man.
He was going to go up there and most likely get smashed.
Yeah,
great for betting against him, by the way. Made a lot of money betting against Peter Wright.
We did.
But it was just, I'm glad to see him. He's starting to get back in form. Made to the quarters of the Worlds. He's been playing better darts. So, he's an awesome guy. So, like, you hate to see that happen to him anyways. But there was no way after last year's performance you could bring him back under almost any circumstance. Unless he won the World Championships, then maybe. But other than that, outside of that, he wasn't
had to go
back.
Yeah, definitely. He's probably one of my favorites just to watch. I like the way his dart flies into the board. I don't know. There's just something about his throw. Maybe because I tend to throw a little slower, a little less flowy, and I feel like Peter Wright's one of the guys that I
see. I think that's why you would like him. As someone who probably throws somewhat like more methodically, like no one's going to prefer to watch him over Michael Smith.
Yeah.
Like just not. It's just, and so, that is a part of this, I would say. I don't think that's certainly not the reason why he didn't get invited this year. But like he doesn't, it's not choppy. It is smooth. It's just not rhythmic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Takes pauses for, a second or two before each throw, and it just
he concentrates on each throw.
Takes a little longer than these other guys. before you know it, like if you're not counting with them, you don't even know where they're throwing their next dart. They're especially like Michael Smith. He just gets them up there as quick as
they
possible.
do the math. They do the math so quick in their head. It's just you can see the camera has trouble following around if it's a non-traditional way. Of going like the. But speaking of that, though, who did you think was like the top person who should have gotten in who didn't get in to the Premier League?
Yeah, I feel like probably Damon Hedda. To me, it was Damon Hedda or Mike De Decker, who I would have liked to have seen potentially get in there. De Decker had, major win last year and certainly played pretty well throughout the year, at least the second half of the year for sure. So I feel like he's not exactly the most exciting person, maybe, but I think he appeals to a good amount of the fans, like a younger guy, and he plays fairly quick as well. But Hedda's definitely a fan favorite. He has the energy. He gets into it, and I think he would be fun week to week.
So I waffle on Damon Hedda because on one hand, new blood, good, throws at a decent pace, and also is a quality player. I think he's ranked number 8 in the world. So he's got, the creds. The problem is he never wins anything.
Yeah.
He never, ever wins anything.
It's hard to say
until you win something. I find it really hard to put people up there that don't win. And he just doesn't win. Like he's never won a major. I don't think he's ever even been to a semifinal of a major. Like he's gone to finals, I think, a Euro Tour events, but he hasn't even really won those. Until you got to show me you win something, because there was rumblings about like Wessel Nyman too. Wessel Nyman is very, very fun to watch. Never wins anything.
Yeah.
So, you got to be able to win something, I think, to get in there. And frankly, like I kind of agree with you. I probably would have put De Decker in, but this is Mike De Decker's own fault. He's not in. All he had to do was show up remotely at the Worlds. If he wins a match at the Worlds, he's in. If he does better at the World Series, or the Grand Slam, like he's in.
Yeah.
Like he just didn't, outside of the World Grand Prix, he didn't produce much. He did right before. He was actually playing really well right before it.
Yeah. And a little bit after, but
a little bit, but like you gotta win a game in the World. It was just like it was such a huge letdown after his win at the World Grand Prix. You thought, okay, he's pulled it together, and then old Mike De Decker comes back where he has all this talent, and then he just like forgets to show up one day. Yeah. And you can't do that, I think, and expect to get a call from the Premier League, like to say you want to be in when you just sometimes don't show up.
Yeah, he needed that one last. Yeah, like you said, definitely.
I think even if he gets one win at the Worlds, he's in.
Yeah.
Even if he just wins his second round game.
Yeah, he allowed everyone to just forget him because he was out so early, and then
that's exactly it. He allowed everyone to forget about him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. What about someone like Gary Anderson? Probably has a talent to be in.
I don't think he wanted to do it. You know what? It's not that he can. He's been in the Premier League a ton.
Yeah.
But like he was wishy. He has a weird history with the Premier League, anyways. The whole reason they did the Contender Series was because he kind of dropped out last minute, saying his shoulder was bugging him, and I don't think they were real happy about that. The way that went down, they had to scramble to figure out what to do. And I can't remember what year that was. I don't know if that was 2018, 2019 or something like that. But ever since then, I think that's kind of been in the back of their mind. And, he doesn't like playing a lot of events anyways. So I think, I don't think they wanted, he was wishy-washy on it. Yeah. And listen, if you're wishy-washy on something like that, don't want him in. There's too many people that want to play this.
Yeah, he'll end up missing weeks or doing something like that.
Exactly, and he'll just do that.
Everything.
You really do have to commit, especially in the current format. You really have to commit every week.
So what would they do if someone is sick or someone can't play 1 week? They just pulling in a sub, I guess, from somewhere.
You know what? I don't know what they would do. It used to be when they had the old format where you played. There was 5 matches in a night. They would just kind of rearrange the schedule for, somebody would just not play 2 matches that night.
Or whatever. Yeah. Before it was a tournament.
Yeah, before it was a tournament. Now I don't know. I think you just give one person a bye because I don't know what else you would do in the current format. I think you just give someone a bye, and that's it.
Yeah, they didn't have to do that last year.
No, everyone showed up for every match last year. So I think unless somebody's got like really down for the count or something happened.
Yeah.
But that did happen with Gerwin Price, I think, 1 week.
I know. Now that you said
I think now that you say about that,
it might have happened.
Actually did happen.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what they did. I think they just gave somebody a bye.
Yeah.
Into the next round.
I would propose better than that. They should just pull someone out of the audience and let them get smoked on stage.
Just a reality check. This is darts is actually hard.
Yeah. And just see someone. And
then what they do with
the
the e-bug in the NHL. Both goalies hurt. All right, we got to get somebody to play goal.
That would be fun. I mean, if you're giving them a bye anyways, you might as well just grab somebody, throw them up there.
You know who was actually a snub? I wouldn't call it a snub, but someone who I want to see in the Premier League is Ryan Searle. I think he would be great for that format.
Yeah, I know. He's definitely a popular player. People would like to see him there.
Again, another guy that never wins anything.
Yeah, he was on my list of potential snubs, and I definitely would enjoy seeing him up there.
I wouldn't call him as far as a snub because he's just Mingo's you're around the top 16
exactly
consistently, but you also don't win anything off the floor. He wins floor events all the time.
Yeah,
put him in front of a crowd, he doesn't win anything.
Yeah, so can't call it a snub if you're just not good enough.
Yeah, if you don't, if you're not good enough.
Yeah. But
I think Jermaine Watermean is a snub, although he would actually be fun to watch in this format.
Yeah, he would be fun. I don't know who else. I'm not sure. The only other people I kind of just like jotted down, Ian Van Veen.
Ian Van Veen would be fun. Would be fun to watch in this format. Again, someone who never wins anything either.
Yeah.
But I could see him in the Premier League in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
if he ever pulls it together one year, where like he could absolutely be in the Premier League because he's just a fun style to watch play.
Yeah, him like Vessel Nyman, Danny Noppert, some of those guys, if they have really good years, then they probably would be in the mix
everyone says like things about Danny Noppert. Danny Noppert's constantly in the top 10. No one thinks of it that way because he never wins any big tournaments.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like he got to the finals once or twice last year in 1 or 2 tournaments, but didn't win any as far as I remember.
Yeah, I don't know if he won a Euro Tour event last year or not. I don't think he did. But that's just it. He's just a really good, solid player, but never a great player. Like you're never wowed watching him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I think that's part of that's part of the appeal of the Premier League too. You have to be like, go wide-eyed occasionally. Like someone has to have that ability.
Yeah, you want
to go, wow, look at that. Yeah. It just happened.
Just go on like an
pulls out 170s all the time.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. He's pretty good. He has a bit of a ability to hit the 170, it seems like.
Yeah, and so you need things like that to be considered for the Premier League, not just winning. You need to be able to kind of have a grade A top game that can really impress, especially over a short format like Premier League. You could win, you could have 110 average, and you're not, it's in your capabilities. Like some people are just never going to get, like Danny Noppert. I'm not seeing 110s out of him ever. Like,
no. Yeah, that's probably what will keep James Wade from ever getting back in. He's just a 95 average, solid.
Yeah. He's just a solid guy. I mean, he had his time. He had a lot of years. In the Premier League, when he was in the top 4.
Yeah,
like he was in, but his style just doesn't lend itself really to being there.
Josh Rock maybe is on the edge of getting over.
Yeah, if he starts
into
winning
trouble.
more, I can see him getting in. Like he's fun to watch. People, I think people would like seeing him in there too. But again, you kind of have to win, especially when you're outside the top 4. There's so much competition. You know, here's the thing: who's going to be in the top 4? We know it's going to be the Lukes, probably MVG. And even if MVG drops out of the top 4, people want to see him. Like, and then right now, Rob Cross.
Yeah.
Bunting might sneak in there, but it's probably going to be Rob Cross because he's just so consistently good.
Yeah.
And then now you got 4 spots you're fighting for, and there's unless you're winning or you're constantly towards the finals or something, like it's going to be really tough to get in. It just is.
Yeah. You can pretty much guarantee next year Littler, Humphreys, MVG are in, probably Cross and Bunting. And then you got 3 that
as long as Bunting stayed current level, yes.
Yeah.
And then you got 3 more, and so now you throw everyone into the hat. You know, Michael Smith has a really good year this year. He's going back in.
Oh yeah,
right? Like there's, you know, honestly, you know what's another slump that nobody talks about? Is I think Dimitri Vandenberg.
Oh,
I know everyone's gonna laugh. Laugh because it's like he's kind of annoying, and he's got, you know, he can be very annoying on stage, but he's been in there a couple times before. But also, like, he was really, really good last year. And so, like, I mean, he ended up now I've forgotten what he won. I mean, he won the UK Open last year.
Yeah.
So and I think he won like a European Tour event as well. So it's not like he didn't win or didn't perform at high stages. He just, you know, I think he's not well liked. I think he's just annoyed. He annoys a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. But, you know, it's also getting, you know, I think he was 11th in Pro Tour merit. So it's not like he's, you know, so far outside that he's a ridiculous thing. Plus, he's got a new walk-on song that's way, way better than his last one. So thank God he got rid of that. I hated that song. But you know, his new one's actually really good. So that's the best change. We'll discuss that at some point. Walk-on songs, but I certainly give him number 1 for most improved walk-on song out there.
There's a few who probably need to do the same thing, and
there are a few
and get a new one, but not Bunting. I'm right. I think Bunting needs to stick it out.
I know a lot of people love his walk-on song. I don't know. It's so. You look at him. Look at him. I like he should be singing this song. Come on.
Yeah, that's why it's good.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I mean, he looks like, you know, he's 75. So I guess the ridiculousness is what helps it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think I've got pretty much covers all the people I was thinking about. You know, maybe next year Cam Crabtree plays really well.
You get all your Modus favorites.
Yeah,
Gun Morris.
He's not a Modus guy anymore. He's a PDC guy now.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. So maybe he'll have quite the year now.
Yeah, I think he had a decent Players Championship one. At least he won a couple.
Yeah, he did.
So, but we'll see.
No, we'll see Carl Snead in there too. You know, who knows?
Yeah. Speaking of the Players Championship, real quick, I think we do need to petition the PDC to set the draws earlier, like the night before at least, or something like that. It's annoying that they don't make those very easily bettable with the way that they do it.
No, they really don't. It's actually really difficult, which is funny because every other, and the only reason I can think of is because, one, it's not a TV tournament, and two, it's if last minute people drop out, they can just up until game time they can make
adjustments on the
they
fly.
can make adjustments on it. But I really agree, from a betting standpoint, it's awful. And it's interesting because the PDPA usually requires 24 hours notice for the draws to go out. on tournaments. So I don't know if they don't have jurisdiction over this because it's an in-house tournament or what. But like usually the draw is about 24 hours, give or take, before, and they don't have that for this, and they really should.
It's like even if it was just first round, that's what 64 matches that
I mean
have to look at with these 128 player fields. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. So I don't know why they don't do it, but it is a good thing. I wish they would actually change.
I know.
So going to Premier League Night 2.
Yes.
Let's run down the list to see kind of who we think, and then we'll give our predictions for the night at the end. Price is minus 165 over Aspinall 145. I just like the way Price is playing too much right now. And I don't think Aspinall is necessarily playing poorly, but Price is really on the top of his game. He just got today, as we're recording this, he just won Players Championship 2.
Oh man,
over 8-7 over Dobie, and he was really good in yesterday's Player Championship too, as well. So I think I'm definitely going to be betting him at this price over Aspinall right now. I think his A game right now is just he's on his A game, and that's just too strong.
Yeah. I definitely like it. I don't even think they've gotten it high enough to where it should be Price versus Aspinall. Like it's -1 because it was -150, now -160, -165. Probably goes to 175 before it settles in.
Honestly, I think it's going to go more than that. I bet you by game time it's going to probably be about -188, 187, something like that. Like, it just. I think it's he's just too, or fractional odds 8/15. Like something. He's just playing too well right now.
He is. I'm in on Price for sure in that match.
And it's in Glasgow today. There's no Scottish players right now in the Premier League, so there's no real home field advantage or disadvantage for anyone in this match. Like if this game's in this game's in Manchester or something like that, it's Gerwin would not be, or Gerwin would not. Let's just say Gerwin would be getting it from the crowd a little bit. I don't think that's going to be necessarily the case today. So, or on Thursday, I should say. So, so I think Price wins this one. I might even take him by margin. It was -1.5 even money. That might be also worth a bet at this point.
Yeah, I like that as well.
The second match is actually Cross versus Littler. Littler -300, Cross +250. It's tough to go against Luke Littler at any point, but Cross seems to have his number.
Yeah,
like Cross just isn't fazed by anybody. Like that's just not in his DNA. He doesn't get real rattled. He doesn't get usually too frustrated. And I just see this as a close match, actually.
Yeah, Cross is one of the steadier players. I do agree. I like him usually covering spreads against better players, I think. And still, he has.
He's number 4 in the world for a reason.
Outright,
he's not, he isn't exactly, a schlub here.
Yeah. The thing though with Littler is Cross doesn't have the ability to keep up if Littler's throwing 100 plus 105 like he has been lately.
Cross can throw 100 plus and he can throw 105. I don't see Cross throwing 110, 115s.
Oh no.
And that's what Littler sometimes will bust out.
The Cross ceiling to me feels like 100 roughly, where I don't see him going over that too much.
Yeah, I disagree with you a little bit. I think Cross does. I think he threw a 105 today in a match. So it's not that he can't do it. It's just that he's a sneaky better 180 hitter than people think. They don't think of him that way, but he's actually pretty. I have to look up the stat on that. But he's actually pretty decent at it. people think of him in the same realm as like Johnny Clayton or something like that.
Yeah,
And he's not. He's actually better,
Yeah.
quite a bit better.
You might be right. I always envision once he has two in there, the third one just clanking off and going down into the 20, and he's like the king of the 140 in my mind.
I will say I would say Johnny Clayton is 100% king of the 140, but for different reasons. I think Johnny Clayton is probably the best adjuster on tour. If he misses a little bit low or a little bit high, he is really good at making that adjustment within that next throw and getting it into the treble. That's where I think he gets a lot of his 140 from. Not that he throws the first one in. A lot of people get 140s from throwing the first one in. He's not. He gets a lot of them after missing the first start. And I think where I think Cross does well is ton plus out shots. I think he makes up a lot of ground on his last throws. Whereas he might not be a big of a scorer as Littler, but if you leave Cross with like a ton plus, like a low ton, like a 118, 112s, things, 116s, things like that, like he'll clear those out.
Yeah.
He will get one trouble and get a shot at double 18 on a 116.
Yeah, you feel like Cross is always getting one treble, pretty much.
Exactly, which is why he's so good at low ton plus out shots.
No, that's a good.
Is because he's always getting one. He rarely misses two.
Is there anything with Cross's darts you're saying his 180s are actually decent, but I mean we know like Littler's got the long points. It seems like those are clustered really well.
Yeah. I think that could be part of it. I think you're onto something there a little bit in that people who are able to cluster their darts together better tend to throw more 180s simply because they have more room in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also say that I think maybe they're just good at repeating their throws 3 times in a row. And that's why they get more 180s. Who used to be good, he's coming back a little bit, but who has very good clustering darts is Joe Cullen when he's on.
Oh yeah.
He can actually cluster really well. Chris Dobie's really good at it too.
Yeah. Ross Smith.
Exactly.
We always
when Ross
talk
Smith
about
is
him.
on, we always talk about him, but when he's on and throwing 180s, he clusters them together incredibly well.
Yeah, and if he misses the first treble, then you
he's
can
nowhere.
he can't get one the rest of the time. Yeah,
that's why he's difficult to bet on. He's difficult to bet on, but I think we bet against him a lot because he ends up throwing up these stinkers where if he can't find the treble, he's done.
Yeah, and you can give people plus money.
He's like the opposite. He's like the opposite of Johnny Clayton.
Yeah. He's a plus. People going against him, getting plus money on against Ross Smith is usually a decent bet. But I would say, on the other hand, if he's ever plus against somebody else, because of the fact that he has those times where he's on just pounding 180s, then he could also be a good dog bet. You just don't really want to bet him as a favorite ever.
You know what? He's like a slightly better version of Jermaine Wanamina.
Yeah.
Like bet on him as a dog, don't bet him on as a favorite.
Yeah. I like Wanamina better actually. But Smith, you're right, probably statistically is better.
Yeah. I Smith is, but I like Wanamina better to bet on as an underdog because I think he actually has a higher A game.
Yeah, and he's really
when he's on.
A lot of fun.
He could throw 110.
Yeah, he can hang with a Littler.
Can he hang? He'll actually outscore him. I mean, he did that to Humphreys.
Oh yeah,
what was the last tournament?
In the Worlds? Did it? No,
it was the World Series. No, it was the Dutch Darts Open.
Oh, Dutch Darts.
The Dutch Darts Open where he beat Luke Humphreys. He just went off on him. He beat him 6-1, I think, or something like that. Absolutely trucked him because he was just on top of his game, and that was it.
Yeah.
Back to the Premier League, though. Next match is Bunting plus 110 against MVG. This feels, I don't know who to pick on this. Like, I could see either one winning. I guess that's why the line's so close.
This is what makes it pretty fun right now. Is I actually feel like a lot of people are playing well right now. Like MVG last week was really good, and we haven't seen him since then. Since he skipped the Players' Championship, so I I don't think he should be like minus 130 to Bunting plus 110. But
Bunting has not been on his A
why.
game. I don't think Bunting's been on his A game recently.
Yeah, maybe he's falling off just slightly. So maybe that is about in the right range. But to me, they're a little closer than that. I definitely give MVG the edge, but
I give MVG. Yeah,
I was expecting.
You know what? I think I'd take Bunting just because I'm getting plus 110.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, it would be Bunting. But I'm not surprised if either one wins either way. And I think this line is right. I think MVG is rightly a slight favorite.
Yeah, he wants these probably more than anyone else. I think
he does kind of like putting on the show.
Yeah, it's like he wants to win Premier League. He wants to win everything. That's one of the reasons why I like him. Like he's never.
Yeah. He's always wanted. He doesn't want to take.
He never feel like he's out of it mentally. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Agree. So that's now I've got like waffling on this, but no, I'm going to stick with Bunting. I just like, but I don't think I'd bet this just because like this is really very coin flippy.
Yeah,
I think, and it could very well. Don't be surprised if this goes 6-5.
Yeah,
and then the person who wins the bull wins. Yeah. Like I think you could.
I can see that.
I can absolutely see the person winning the bull winning this game.
Definitely.
Final match is Humphreys over Dobie. It's Humphreys minus 300, Dobie plus 240. Dobie's playing really well right now. I mean, he just lost in the Players' Championship, but the final. But he's been playing really well recently, and he got to the finals last week. I mean, he got smoked by Humphreys at that point, but last week, which might be part to do with this line losing 6-1.
Yeah.
But I can make a case for Dobie winning this game. Like I think I like Humphreys to win the game, but I think I like Dobie at plus 240.
I know I think it's too high.
I think it's high. I think that's just like Dobie wins this game more than a third of the time. I think he wins probably 35 to 40% of the time.
Yeah, I know Humphreys won last week, but it still feels like Humphreys he's good, but he's not at his.
You know what? He wasn't.
Level.
It's funny. He was good, but not great last week.
Yeah, and it hasn't been for a while. Where
he didn't have to be
really
like 105 Humphreys. I haven't seen 105 Humphreys.
No, he hasn't showed up in a while, and that's why it feels like he's just not quite at his maximum point of his powers. But
I mean, Dobie at max power can absolutely take him down. And so I think Humphreys win this game, but you know what? I think I'll bet Dobie plus 240.
Me too.
Like I think Humphreys win this, but I don't think that's not a good price for Humphreys.
No, I would never bet the Humphreys money line here. Definitely the chance of Dobie winning. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this feels like he wins. This feels like a fair line should be like 175 or something like that.
Yeah,
and 240, I think is just too much value for Dobie to get.
Definitely.
So on with that. What is our prediction for week 2? Who do you like to win the night, and what price?
Yeah, I would say. I know we were talking like, man, Bunting versus MVG. I think whoever wins that is who I would pick to win the night. And so my actual like bet that I like the most is probably MVG plus 650 to win the night here. The Littler line is a little too low. I liked actually last week when it's plus 200 or a little above with how well he's playing. I think it is a good bet actually just to take Littler to win the week, but it's now plus 175. So kind of surprised that it dropped, but I mean he was awesome last week. He just ran into MVG.
Yeah, he ran
in an incredible match. So
yeah, I mean, and I think this is the problem with the problem or great part about the Premier League is that anyone can beat anyone in this. Like, you're surprised, but you're not completely surprised. Even if Arsenal took down Littler in the first to six, you could see that happening.
Yeah.
Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility of happening, which just makes it like you're almost better off with slightly longer odds on people taking that, might not be the top of your mind. I really love the way Gerwin Price is playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has maybe the slightly favorable draw. He's playing Asp first. And then I think he goes through, I think he's coming through Littler, maybe in the second, or Humphreys in the second match.
Humphreys or Dobie there.
Yeah, it goes through, which is neither is really an easy match, but I just think I'm taking Gerwin Price at plus 700. I just think he's a favorite in the first match. He'll probably be either a slight dog or a slight favorite against in the next match. And then, you have a maybe 50-50 shot at hitting Littler in the final, or hitting MVG or Bunting probably.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hit one of those two, I mean, Price and MV is slight dog, maybe to MVG, slight favorite to Bunting, maybe. So I think plus 700 actually offers a little bit of value here, considering he is a decent favorite, I think, in the first match.
Yeah, the bottom half of the draw that he's in, it feels, and having the first match against Aspinall, that is a big advantage there. Hopefully, you think he's definitely getting through that, and at least then just has to win 2 more.
Yeah, and I think he's not that I think Asp is ever a pushover by any stretch. I mean, Asp can definitely win this game. I just think that Price is just really on his game right now, and I think that's going to carry over. And he's not going to, hopefully not going to get the crap booed out of him in Glasgow. I don't think that'll happen. So he's not playing Peter Wright or anything. So I think it'll probably be.
Without Peter Wright, no Scottish players.
Yeah, no Scottish players. So.
And Gary Anderson's missing.
Yes. And Cameron Menzies. So,
well, he's got a ways to go, maybe, before he.
Yeah, let's see. Cameron Menzies not like bottle a match that he should win, going away before we put him in the Premier League. Oh, that being said, he might be fun to watch in the Premier League. I don't think he deserves it, but he might be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, they should actually just have Cameron and Fallon just play doubles against everyone for entertainment purposes.
That actually would be funny. Actually, a doubles format might be interesting for the Premier League, just as a 1 week, 1 off.
Oh yeah, like I know. No, that would actually. Why not? Then you could kind of just apply the points based on whichever doubles team wins. I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
Do like a round robin or something like that, doubles format.
Yeah, could work. Came up with a good idea.
Yeah, they should hire me. PDC, you need more marketing people. Hire me.
Yes,
to the US.
I mean, they have the golf weeks so that you're allowed to pick a partner. I think it's the New Orleans championship, whichever one's played there. But each they actually have team events. So I think that could be fun, and the Premier League might be the best place to do that. Honestly, and maybe
the World Cup's fun for that reason. Part of the reason for the fun of the World Cup is because it's doubles. So probably should have occasional doubles events.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, I think that'll actually about wrap it up for this week. Now we figure out we got Price. I'll just leave everyone with this, and that I know it's been a long time since we last had a podcast, but the last time I did leave you with the winner, Rob Cross, to win the U.S. Darts Masters. Did come through plus 900 on that. So was lucky to get one more before we signed off, but we will be back doing more regular podcasts going forward this year. So. For Jonathan Sokol, I am Justin Wyva. We will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.